Hi everyone, I just wanted to talk to you about what Arsenal's last week in football, starting off with the game against Watford last weekend and following up with the Europa League game last night. Maybe a little bit of any other business as well, but those two main things. Now, obviously, it's Friday. Now I say obviously you don't know that, but it is Friday, and I like to do this after the week has fulfilled all of the fixtures, shall we say. So let's start off with the Watford game. It was a game where in the past we probably would have drawn, maybe even lost that game. Watford were obstinate, didn't really come to win the match. It was more of a case of let's not lose it. But they're the sort of games that we've struggled towards the end of Arsene Wenger's career at Arsenal. They're the sort of games that we struggled to win or to break those teams down. So under Unai, I think that's changing a little bit, mainly because it's different for the players. We haven't really had this style of coach. Even going back to Georgie Graham, not someone that stand on the side of the touchlines and scream and shout. This guy doesn't give anyone a break. I was watching the highlights. I think it was on Match of the Day. It doesn't really matter where I was watching them, but and they showed you we were attacking down one flank, and in the background you could see in his technical area, Unai was there. He was talking to the defenders and getting them into place, telling them where he wanted them, that sort of stuff. So we haven't really had that from a manager for as long as I can remember, really. Arsenal used to get up every now and again and do this, but yeah. So that's probably where some of this change is coming from on the pitch. It's probably been hard for some of the Arsene Wenger players that were there for a long time to get on board with it. But that's a sort of game I genuinely, like I say, without that sort of prodding and poking and cajoling, that we might well have gone on to draw or lose that game. I don't think it's any coincidence that Torreira is starting and we're keeping clean sheets. He protects. He's like Gilberto. He's this team's Gilberto. For me personally, I mean, obviously you've all got your own opinions, but that's what I believe. It was a shame to see Peter Cech go off in the way that he has in that game, getting the injury, goal kick. But I think Bernd Leno deserves his chance. Obviously now, he's kept clean sheets in that game against Qarabag, which I'll come on to in a minute. So not too worried about him. There's there's a good goalkeeper there. There's some good saves definitely in those two games. A little bit concerned about Aubameyang's current form, goal wise. He's playing well on the pitch, but he's just not scoring, and that's concerning at the moment. Let's say not worrying. We're still getting the goals, and there seems to be a pattern forming. Actually, talking about that in terms of the goals, we seem to be controlling games. Yes, we're letting attackers get more chances, but we're not conceding them. And you can only beat the teams that are in front of you. But so from a layman's point of view, someone that doesn't go every week to the Emirates, so I can't say what it's like over a full 90 minutes. I've seen a couple on TV. I haven't been there this year so far this season, but it looks like we're controlling games to a degree, and then having a 10, 15, 20 minute spurt where we then score the goals and kill the game off, and I'm happy with that. If that's what it takes. Again, the first 10 years of Arsene Wenger's reign, we would blow teams away invariably. We'd blow them away in the first half and then just ease off, and that's fine. We haven't got a massive squad, and Unai has decided it looks like he's going to play as strong a team as possible in all competitions. So there's going to be a bit of squad management going on there, and game management. And we hear this all the time. It's a rubbish phrase, but game management, and includes knowing when to go for the kill, when to try. It could be a tactic of his against teams like Watford. Get them playing. Get them coming out at you. Get them thinking they've got you on the ropes. The whole, Muhammad Ali rope. It could be. We don't really know. We haven't seen enough of Unai as a manager yet to decide whether or not that is the way he's going to go. Sorry. But it looks like there is that sort of system going on, and then we knock teams for 2 or 3 goals after a couple of minutes, maybe a half or so of trying to suss them out, and with that, there's a I've heard a couple of nonsense remarks about, he makes substitutions at half time. That's tacit admission that he's got it wrong. Well, it's difficult. It's so difficult to not compare. But Arsene Wenger was criticised massively for always making a sub on 70 minutes. Always. You knew it was coming. Didn't matter what game, who was playing, what happened. Right? Unai Emery, he does make the occasional substitution at half time, but maybe this is part of the tactic, as what I was just saying. You get them in, you lower them in, and then you change it up, and they don't know what's going on. Maybe he does say, okay, well, I've set them out wrong for this one, so maybe I'm going to change it. Maybe it's just, right, we've tried that doesn't work, we've tried that doesn't work, let's change it again at half time. And I'm happy with that. It's a stupid accusation to level at him. It's a admission that he got his tactics wrong. That could be his tactic. And so it could be going right, because we've won 8 on the bounce now. Yes, they're against lesser opposition, but you've still got to put them out. You've still got to go out there and get the goals. And what else? Another thing I like, which will lead on to any other news bit later on, is that he doesn't care for reputations. Obviously, the club have withdrawn the offer for Aaron Ramsey. Again, that's the bit that's coming on. But he doesn't mind substituting him. Didn't mind dropping Ozil at the beginning of the season. So, I think something there is working. And when it does properly click, then that's when we'll see the real Unai Emery tactics and team gel, and when we will start, hopefully, fingers crossed, beating teams that we're not supposed to win anymore. The Man City games, the Chelsea games, the Liverpool games. So that was the Watford game. And what's his name? Troy Deeney's big corner. So we moved on to last night's game against Qarabag. I know. And we're getting grief this week from Tottenham supporters because I was revelling a little bit in their losing to Barcelona. But let's have it straight before I get on to our game. For Mauricio Pochettino to come out and say they played like heroes. Did they? Because they lost. Yeah, they got it back to 2-1, 3-2. Still lost though. Messi hit the post twice. And that's another thing. Again, we'll get on. I want to get onto later on. Is the media narrative. So we used to dine at the top table. We're in the same restaurant now. We're just in the corner where no one can see us, rather than the front window. We're in the cheap seats, but. It's our level. It's where we are. You've got to take it on the chin. I've seen other United supporters saying, "Well, if if we're in the Europa League this year, if we drop down into it after yet another bad performance from United, then I'll complain about being in the Europa League as well." Don't do that. You're in this league. You're in this competition. You're going to win this competition. None of us want to be in it, but we're in it. So you back the team, and you can, People say, "Oh, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup." Yeah, but I'd rather win a Mickey Mouse Cup at the end of the season than not any cup at all. So we're in it to win it. And who knows? Maybe we'll get. We were unlucky last year. The home leg against Atletico in the semi-final. We should really have put them away. We didn't. Didn't take our chances, and the rest is history. But as I said earlier on, Unai seems to be playing his strongest team in every cup competition. So there was a few changes yesterday. Nothing major though, and he still brought Mesut Ozil on, and he still brought Lacazette on. So he obviously wants to win these games and get them done, get them out of the way. And 3-0, you know, this Qarabag were in the Champions League last year, took points off Atletico Madrid as well. So no real mugs. You know, it's just that crap saying where there are no easy games in football anymore. But this one wasn't as easy as, you know, it's out away. A 3-0 in Baku, I think, is a good result. Great fans from the sounds of it. And again, another solid enough performance going forward. Kill off the team, get the quick goals, get the goals in succession if you can. And it's not a great deal to say, is there? Because it's rolling along. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. I was just pleased to see that he is taking every game, every competition seriously. I think part of it is that he knows that in a first season, a transitional season, I keep doing this, it's a wanky thing to do, but that's what I do. In a transitional season, the most important thing is getting at least a cup win, a decent cup run, either one. You know, we only finished 6th last year, so any improvement on that in the league is an improvement. I think we're good enough for a cup. I think we're good enough for the Europa League, to be honest with you. Obviously, results will have to go our way. We've only won 2 games in the group stages. I think we'll qualify from the groups, no problem. But I'm enjoying life under Unai Emery. It's been at least 10 years, I think, since we won 8 on the trot. 8 on the trot we won. Yes, like I keep saying, they're easy games. Qarabag, Watford, Brentford. If you're going back that way, you know, we haven't played anyone since we played Chelsea. But Watford were unbeaten up until recently. You know, that's only their second loss. And like I say, you look at Tottenham. They've been turned over a couple of times now. Chelsea just about struggled to a 1-0 home win over some Europa League team on the same night we played. So you've got to take the positives. And the positives are 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games, 2 wins, 8 wins on a trot. We've had, I think it's 13 different scorers 10 different scorers in 13 different games. You know, it's sharing the goals out again. So, as I said earlier on in the video, you can't really compare. It's not fair to compare. And just because you were an Arsene Wenger man doesn't mean you can't be an Unai Emery fan and vice versa. I admired Arsene Wenger. I was one of the ones that said, be careful what you wish for, you've got to have the right man, and maybe they did just wait till the right man was available. Maybe he's not the right man, we don't know. But at the moment, it's looking kind of cool, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying going into a game not knowing how we're going to set up, or not know that we're going to lose 4-2 to Chelsea. I know we lost 3-2, but do you know what I mean? It's like there was a point in that game where we could have won it. There was, you know, we don't know. We're not going to get turned over 6-2 at Man City. I wouldn't have thought under this team. Whereas under Arsene, towards the end, you sort of thought, where's he going to get a spanking up there? And that's what leads me on to this last part, the any other business. So we're going to start with Petr Cech coming out and saying that towards the end of the time under Arsene, it was more about the style of football than the winning the matches. And okay, maybe that's true. I don't know how many friends you're going to win for coming out and saying that. I don't know what the angle is there. You know, you are still our number one. Arsene Wenger's only been gone technically a couple of months. What are you trying to say? Whose side are you trying to get on there? Because for me, that says more about you than it does about Arsene Wenger, because you know Arsene Wenger is the manager of the club. If you didn't like it or you didn't agree with it, you're a big personality, Petty. You could have stepped up and said something. I don't agree with you that way, or I think we should do it a different way. This is how we did stuff at Chelsea or whatever. But on the flip side, we could see that as fans. We weren't stupid. We could see that, you know, it wasn't, that for Arsene, really, it wasn't the be all and end all. Well, it wasn't winning. It was, I mean, it was league position. But he always had the fallback of not having enough money, the stadium, you know, so maybe he was using those as an excuse, and, you know, perhaps we did leave him stay too long. But that's done now, so I just find it odd timing for Petr Cech to come out and say that, to be honest. Yeah, and now we've got, like I said earlier on in the video, we've got Aaron Ramsey now. The club have withdrawn the offer of the contract to Aaron Ramsey. So that makes me think that it was an Arsene Wenger contract, and to wait until now, maybe Unai's turned up and said, I'll have a look, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't know if you're going to fit in my ethos, or I don't know if you're as good as the contract that we're offering you, or maybe he thought, I've got my eye on someone, but we'll have a look at Aaron, and if he's good enough, then I won't need to buy him. Something along those lines happened. It's the same thing with Jack. When Jack left, I think, if I'm right in thinking, we'd offered him the contract of a pay-as-you-play thing under Arsene Wenger, and I think Unai's came in and was probably in looking back, in all likelihood, said to him, well, look, I'm bringing in Guendouzi, he's going to be my man, and you're going to be behind him. And Jack's gone, no, not for me, I'm going to go. So I think there's shades of that now as well. So, you know, it'll be a shame to see Rambo go. His agents have said that there's nowhere left for him, nothing left for him to do. He's got to go. You know, he scored two of the biggest goals in Arsenal's FA Cup history, against Hull and 2 years ago against Chelsea. He'll always be remembered for those. You know, to come back the way he did after the broken leg was amazing, and for the stick he used to get at Stoke all the time because of that, for having the audacity to have his leg broken by a clod-hopping centre-half who should have known better and was just a thug. For him to come back from that was pretty special. You know, Eduardo never really, when he had his leg broken, never really come back. He came and scored a wonder goal when on his return as a captain, but it was never back up to it really, so Arsene shipped him out. Whereas Aaron showed strength of character and got back up to that level. The thing with Rambo is you're not sure what sort of performances you're going to get from him. It's clear that the Rambo Ozil axis doesn't work, and there's only really ever going to be one winner there. The man that's on a great deal of money, and is still the #1 shirt sale at the club, Mesut Ozil, still one of my personal favourites. You know, on Ozil, I saw a thing. I was listening to the Talk Sport. I mean, I'm going to try and put it up later on. The dummy at the end of the Qarabag game was just something else. But the commentators at that game, not Talk Sport, sorry, it wasn't Talk Sport, it was BT Sport, which is interchangeable in my ears, just moaning and talking about, you know, oh, well, look at that, Ozil, when he loses the ball there, he doesn't track back. I don't know about anyone else. I don't want Mesut Ozil tracking back. I don't want him breaking his leg in a challenge. I don't want him being in the wrong place in terms of, okay, he could be covering maybe, but I want him near the centre circle when we haven't got the ball, so you can play it up to him, and he's got the range of passing then to open the game up and set the counter-attack off. But then I'm a massive Ozil apologist, so, you know, and as much as I love Rambo for his box-to-box nature and stuff, I just don't think he's going to set into Unai's side, so that was why he's left him. Like I say, maybe he's got someone lined up next summer. We won't know until then, but sad day that when Rambo goes, because he is the closest thing we've got to a Freddie Ljungberg for this generation of Arsenal fans that are coming through now that have watched us win FA Cups. And on that, And then you've got Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez news coming through that he's not happy at United. No shit, Sherlock. There was no way Man City were going to pay him the money they wanted to pay him. That's why he ended up at United. Let's have that straight. Alexis Sanchez would be a City player if they were prepared to pay the money. They weren't. Man United thought they were going to trump Man City by paying the money, but he's not a Mourinho player, is he? Let's call it as it is. He's a flair player who needs the shackles off, needs to be the main man, and he's none of those under Mourinho and none of those at United, where he's got too many players, too many egos, and a rubbish dinosaur of a manager who was way past it on his second spell at Chelsea. And I'm amazed they gave him the Man United job. I was at the time, I still am now. The press are finally seeing past this whole special one, his funny shtick. They're turning on him. I say press, that does not include you, John Cross at the Mirror, who are one of the laziest journalists I've ever seen. And if you've seen my tweets, you'll know what I'm talking about. Honestly, I think once this dinosaur Neanderthal of a manager is gone, Alexis Sanchez might be able to flourish at United. So obviously I want Mourinho to stay there for as long as possible. Good riddance. The way he left the club left a sour taste in the mouth. But, you know, that's modern football. So for every one of those, you get a Jack Wilshere or an Aaron Ramsey that play out their contract perfectly well, want to still do well for the club and don't throw their toys out the pram once they've been told they're no longer needed. So, you know, I wouldn't have him back. There were people saying that they would have him back. I wouldn't have him back because you'd lose this fella. You can't see it, Aubameyang. Because he would have to take his position, and then you've got Lacazette just coming into form. So I probably wouldn't have him back. I would love him back as a player, but I don't know if we could take him back now. And I don't know, like I say, for those reasons, and I don't know if he'd fit into the club system again like he did last time, because he wouldn't be that man. He wouldn't be the man. But it would be nice to take him back. Anyway, that's enough for me from here. I will be doing a podcast. So if you'd like to click like and subscribe, maybe leave a comment, maybe join me on my Anchor podcast, that is the Gooner Armchair. See me on Twitter at Gooner Armchair. Drop me a line, have a chat, but most importantly, keep supporting Arsenal. Cheers.